Huh, looks like it works. Okay. If you can already hear this or see this, then hello and welcome. I haven't live streamed in a while. I'm gonna check if it actually works. Where is my phone? Apparently it is live. I guess I'll notice once someone like posts a comment or something. Anyway, yeah, so I was gonna record a video and I decided to just do this as a stream instead, because I always record videos that are like really long and kind of boring to like watch as your primary thing. Oh, I see a comment. Okay, we are live. Hello. And yeah, so when I record like a really long video, I go like, this could have been a live stream, and sometimes I don't even publish it because I think no one's gonna watch it. So today I'm gonna not make that mistake and just have it as an actual live stream. I hope the audio works fine. I am using not like usually my phone is my microphone, which just works fine, but right now I'm using an actual microphone, which might be a bit loud. OBS says it's okay. Also, apparently we have excellent... No, it just changed. Warning, the stream's current bitrate is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend you use a stream bitrate of 4500 kilobits per second. But what is OBS actually set to? Stream output. It is set to only 2500. So let's change that. I've set it to 4500 now. I don't know how much my internet can actually handle. I am sending 5 Mbits. That's pretty much about the highest that I can. Okay. Also, let's just unplug the test bench to not like waste any thing. And I think I just upset the capture card a bit. Anyway, let's actually get started. So, yeah. So this is an i7-6700, as you can see on screen. I have brought out the old test bench, which now has the Z170 OC formula in it. And that motherboard can overclock non-K CPUs. The i7-6700 has been provided by another YouTuber. Error, YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Yeah, so it's not working. Apparently my internet is too bad, so let's set it to like 3000. Yeah, the stream's quality is just kind of going to suck because I haven't done it in a while. So yeah, the quality seems to mostly suck, I guess. Yeah, but let's get back to the hardware. So this thing can overclock non-K CPUs. I think I actually have profiles. I do have profiles. That's a bit of a spoiler of what it can do, but I'm gonna go load UEFI defaults and just launch it into Windows. The rest of the hardware that is in this system is an HD 7770 that is only in there because I needed a GPU and that card happened to be next to me. And the RAM is some dual rank 4 gigabit Samsung eDie, which, yeah, is eDie. So basically it's not as good as BDI, but it is a pretty good chip. It is dual rank, so we get some extra performance, and it is a 4 gigabit chip, which this board should work better with than any 8 gigabit chips. And let's first check one thing, which is the CPU temperature. Because, okay, that looks good. Because the AIO that I have on it is half defective, because that thing, like the pump on it, sometimes doesn't turn on when you restart the system. So every now and then I need to unplug and then replug the pump connector for the pump to actually run. Yeah, because otherwise there will be no cooling and we will overheat quite heavily. For testing, I want to kind of use SuperPi today. As much as I like TimeSpy CPU test, it does kind of take a while, and SuperPi also has, like, it scales with RAM and also just raw CPU clocks. So, yeah, like, let's just run a base run. I'm going to use 1M. It should do it in about 10 seconds, I think. That looks mostly good. Yeah, 9.24. Yeah, so that looks like what I did in what I got in pre-testing at stock. So we can. I actually didn't pay attention if we were all the way up to 4 gigahertz. It can do 40 multiplier. Memory is completely JEDEC stock, like 2133, 1515, 1536, 2T command rate, man. And yeah, so like this is just like the RAM sticks themselves. You can kind of see them. It's just green OEM sticks directly from Samsung. It even says it here in the part number. It's eDie, and it is dual rank. And also it's 8 gigabytes, so it is 4 gigabit eDie. That's how you can know. It's kind of nice with the chips direct, like the sticks directly from the manufacturer. And yeah, that's a 77 or 7700 series, whatever. Like we're not doing graphics card stuff today, just CPU RAM. So yeah, the CPU, by the way, is delidded. I have put liquid metal on it. I had some left over after doing my 8700K. And so the CPU has liquid metal on it, which is why the temperatures should be pretty good. Like if I do prime 95, I said if I do prime 95, why is it? It's just kind of hanging a bit. Did the pump just stop and are we now like at 800 megahertz or something? Because like everything just crashed. Oh yeah. Is the no, the area around the socket is like cold. I'm not doing Cinebench because Cinebench doesn't care about RAM. Cinebench only cares about your clock speed, and that would be boring. Okay, so it's like weird. I'm just reset it. Can you see chat? Yes. There's a bit of a delay. I don't know how much. I look at chat every now and then. Also, where do you get your GPUs from? Do you repair viewers' parts? I've got it at 1060. I get my GPUs from eBay, and I don't do repair for people. I do it for myself because I am not that good. How much BCLK can that board do? Well, that's what we're going to find out today. That's the point of the stream. So let's actually check prime 95. Let's see if maybe this time the pump did not turn on. Let's just check. Now 27 degrees looks good. And if we do small FFTs, it's doing like 50, 54. Like the fan on the AIO is not even spinning that fast. Like that, yeah, like 4-core Skylake, when you put liquid metal on it, you can just kind of run prime 95 at 56 degrees on a pretty meh cooler. So let's stop that and exit. So CPU temperatures are fine. Let's do that. SuperPi. I want to check if we actually are at 4 gigahertz or if it's like doing some weird throttling. it's almost at 4, but not really. Huh. BIOS version, I am not entirely sure. 192. I don't know, that's probably... The BIOS chips themselves say 1.4 on them, so I guess I updated the BIOS a bit. The newer versions for the board's BIOS apparently don't support non-K overclocking anymore, because that was only a 6th gen thing. 7th gen can't do that. So I think those BIOSes no longer work. But like, I'm not entirely sure if this even officially supports it. The deal with this is, like, non-K CPUs, if you dial in more than like 102 or 103 BCLK, they just kind of don't boot. And on this you can put in like 140 and it still works. That's like the entire thing. It's like the same as 12th gen non-K overclocking. It's just, you can just run higher BCLK. And yeah, it just kind of works. So 9.2 seconds still. And let's go into BIOS and do some testing. I kind of want to see what just RAM does. I'm just gonna apply like the generic 3200 CO16 XMP profile on the RAM, because I know it does that. I'm not entirely sure what this maxes out at. But yeah, so I'm just gonna... DRAM frequency, I want to have 3200. I'm just gonna go 16, 18. That's TRCD TRP, and then like 36. I actually don't know if this can do command rate good. I'm just gonna leave it on auto. I want this at 4.4, and I actually don't know what TRFC this might be able to do. It is good on like 4 gigabit eDI can do good TRFC, but I don't actually remember like what kind of number that would be. And T4 at 16. Let's like try 350. The 278 is still from 2133, so let's try that. And then voltage, where's eventual DRAM voltage? You want 1.5 volts. No, I want that. Why do you have to apply it twice? The ASRock BIOS is weird. Though I didn't know that going into it. And we don't really have to care about anything else. No, actually, is there SOS? That's more than we need, but I'm just gonna VCCSA, and it's gonna do both SA and IO to 1.35, just so we don't have to set them again. And let's try if that works. So if we get stuck at 55 already. No, it looks like it's gonna boot. Thanks a lot, Galatron. Nice to see that you're appreciating the content, and have a good night. Yeah, MSI BIOS is pretty good. It has some problems, like sometimes you set settings and they don't apply. But I think in like layout and consistency, MSI is probably best. I also quite like the new Gigabyte BIOS. I am a believer in that the old Gigabyte BIOS is not quite as bad as all the people say, but the new one is better. So our memory should now be at, yep, 3200, 16, 18, 18, 36. Not gonna bother to stress test that. It probably works just fine. Let's just see if that changes. So we got 9.2 seconds before, maybe we get like 9 now. The CPU is pretty slow. I don't think we're gonna be that memory performance bound. Though it didn't change at all. Great. Also, this OS is not optimized at all. So, like, we can only really compare relative to what we started at, which is 9.2 seconds. Coming back to the BIOS thing, I have to say, after using the Apex BIOS a lot, I think it does some things good, but a lot of things it does where you just ask yourself just like, why is it like that? Like Asus BIOS is very special. ASRock BIOS is weird, and Asus BIOS is special. And then the new Gigabyte BIOS kind of makes sense, and then MSI BIOS has been like the same since the DDR3 days, because that just works. Okay, so RAM didn't really do much, so let's do some BCLK. So like the thing with the normal non-K CPUs is like usually you are at 100 BCLK. I did see the motherboard is actually applying like 101 already at stock to give you a slight boost. Also, this has an external clock gen, so we can do like very precise. But like basically, if normally you go on a non-K CPU, you can like, this is about the maximum that you can set. So you get like 80 megahertz extra, which is pretty much about nothing. I think sometimes you can go to like 103, which, you know, that's 120 megahertz, but still not really a lot, because 6700Ks, I've been told, do like 4.7, 4.8, and not 4.12. So, why does it... The BIOS just... My mouse still works, but the BIOS is no longer accepting... Oh, that's cool. I think we just crashed in BIOS. I don't know why. It's not like we're putting that much strain on the RAM. It could also just be that we're overclocking a thing that's not supposed to be overclocked. Anyway, I was gonna say let's start at a good 110. That's 400 megahertz extra. Our RAM is now at way higher than it should be, so let's get it back to like about-ish there. And CPU core voltage, I want fixed. I want start with 1.35, and I guess I'm just gonna, like, ideally you'd want like this for your load line, but honestly this thing doesn't pull enough power for me to care. I'm just gonna leave the load line at max, and you know, why the hell not that. This is doubled, and I think this is frequency before doubling, so actually we're only getting 500 kilohertz, which isn't even that high. So maxing this out should be fine. On Asus, you're supposed to disable that. I don't know if it works for ASRock too, but I'm just gonna disable that. Current sensor report. Just intense gain to decrease increase current report. Aha. So only reporting like half the current right now. Where's V? Oh, I've already set V core voltage. Is one thing that we might run into later is, so on Asus, on the Apex, to get higher frequency and lower cache latency working on the RAM, you need to increase the PLL voltage. And I can see about 5 PLL voltages in here. I don't know which one is the one that Asus has, because Asus only has like one main PLL voltage. I think it's this one, the CPU internal, because all the others are like in pairs. Oh no, like we also have, oh my god. Used for booting into OS, CPU PLL volts help BCLK overclocking, also slightly improves memory over. Okay, it's this one then, I guess. Why is it at 1.3 though? On the Asus board it was at like 1 volt. This might be a different thing then. Like that's the problem when you're used to Asus BIOS, because their BIOS is just completely different. Because Asus likes renaming things and putting things in weird places. So let's just leave that. Yeah, that should just work. Like 4.4, 1.35 volts shouldn't be that hard. Chat is getting quite busy. Let's see what we have in there. I'll expect to top out at around 170. We'll see. like, I don't know what is 170 in isn't that a bit more, isn't that a bit high? If 100 BCLK is 4 gigahertz, 170 would be 6.8 gigahertz. That's not gonna happen. Okay, we are in Windows. Let's see if everything was applied. I wish CPU Z would have a temperature readout. Okay, we have 110 BCLK. RAM is slightly higher than before, but still mostly the same. I just want to know that, like, my thing isn't overheating, because that pump does like to turn off every now and then. That's GPU temperature. Yeah. So you see... Oh no, wait, never mind. Yeah, one thing that I forgot to mention about the BCLK overclocking. Oh, A6 asking, are the Pentiums any good? I actually haven't run them yet. They are still in the drawer. They're like gonna be the next ones. I've only done the 6700 for now. Yeah, so it's reporting 100 degrees. I'm just gonna feel near the socket. It's not at 100 degrees. Yeah, so the thing is, if you go over the like usual BCLK limit, your temperature reporting just kind of breaks. Like, we only have a package sensor now and it's 100 degrees. I think the motherboard CPU temperature sensor still works. Yeah, it does. So at 31. That's fine. Yeah, core temp should also be bugged out. I was thinking about using that. Let's read some more chat. EVGA bias is hideous? I don't know, I haven't used an EVGA board ever, but I've just from what I've seen... Wait, why are we slower now? What? It's 9.7 seconds now. Almost 9.8. We're at 9.2. Is it throttling? Is there like a CPU ratio that I have to set high? Yeah, it's only at 3.7. So there's something I have to set in BIOS. I remember in, I think in MSI BIOS, you can like set a maximum CPU ratio for non-K CPUs and it would just like stay at that max ratio. Maybe this one works in a similar way. Aces and their different names for things, yeah. Skylake is lame at overclocking? Yeah, kinda. Like Skylake's the one that doesn't do 5 gigahertz basically. Like, I've asked around what like a 6700K would do, and I've been told like 4.7, 4.8. If you saw the name for one of the pre-save profiles that I had on this thing, about there-ish. But I don't actually know what I did for that profile. Like, you see it right there. I apparently had 4.7 working on this once, but I don't know the settings anymore, and I think the stream is more interesting if we just work away there. So, spread spectrums out. Like, what's that? That is not what I'm looking for. Maybe that? Battery mode with set CPU ratio is at X until the end of. This option is suggested for BCLK overclocking. That's what we're doing. Maybe that FCLK frequency. OC tweaking enhances performance. Oh, that's like the 3D Marker 1 enhancement thing that Gigabyte has. Maybe we should just like disable all the... No, actually, I think that only works on Gigabyte. If you disable Turbo Boost on anything that isn't a Gigabyte motherboard, you tend to get stuck at 800 megahertz. I think just disabling Speed Step would work. I think you need to keep Turbo Boost enabled on most other things. On Gigabyte, you can just like disable it, and it'll just do whatever you tell it. And on other boards, it just completely breaks everything. Oh yeah, power options in Windows. It should be maxed already. This is like a Win 10 Superlight. I might have not done that though. I think the 6700 had some custom thermal paste on it, yeah. I think it had some things. It has liquid metal on it now. Turbo boost disabled meter punching clock ratio. I mean, that's how it works on Gigabyte. The problem is I don't see a clock ratio option in this BIOS for this CPU. It's like, why is it doing that? Let's check if our power options are where. Windows search is still dumb. No, not that one. Power options. Oh, it's actually unbalanced. That doesn't change anything though. We should have, using this thing. Yeah, so like I'm on like Ghost Spectre Windows 10, and if this Ghost Box thing works, we should be able to, okay, I guess it doesn't work. That's cool. Yeah, that lets you enable ultimate performance mode, but I guess not. Yeah, I don't know why it's going down to... Also, the maximum multiplier just reduced by 10. And it's just an i7 now. Yeah, if you like race BCLK, it does funny things. It reported itself to be a 6700T at some point. But I don't get why the... Like, if we put a load on it, is it gonna... No, it won't. Will there be more budget OC competitions in the future? If you're asking about like the one that we did, that one's still running mostly. It's just that no one's competing right now. I've been thinking about like running it, but I'd rather do this right now than do another GPU. Did you try overclocking laptop mutants? I was thinking about getting some of those like repurposed laptop things. This board should be able to overclock those as well. I could try that, I just need to get them. Change plan settings and set CPU set. Oh yeah, right, that's the thing we could try. CPU, where's CPU state? Processor power management, minimum state. It is already is at 100%. So it, yeah, so it's not turboing. Maybe we could just bet that it always stays at a 34 multiplier and then just set BCLK accordingly. So maybe that's what the 170 BCLK was related to. Because that would still be 5.78 gigahertz. Yeah, I don't know why it's not doing it. Like why is it not going to higher multiplier? Like I could just try loading one of the profiles. Yeah, it's slow again. It's at 9.8. I'm just gonna load the 4.7 profile that's on this board and like see what it does. I'm not gonna like look at any settings I put in there. I just wanna see if it works. What is your GPU in your personal rig? 2080 Ti. So that okay. Let's just see if it's actually going at 4.7 or maybe there's something weird with this Windows. Because this is just a random drive that I took because this test bench didn't have a boot drive in it. So this is just some random Windows 10 install that I had. So it could have things on it. I think it even has NVIDIA drivers on it. So if we try to do GPU benching with that, it's not gonna work. Not that this card is good anyway. Like, I distinctly remember that this 7770 is trash, which is why I never used it. Because I ran it once, and it's, like, really bad. I have no cursor movement. Looks to me like, yeah. So the 4.7 profile does not work. So basically we're back at square one. And reset switch doesn't even work. Is it gonna do something now, or does it need to be power cycled? And I just realized now that, oh, it just started by itself. Okay. 0, 0 though. That's cool. This is not a Rampage 5 Extreme, right? Because those randomly... Okay, it's doing something, and it... Okay. I was concerned it got stuck on boot loop again. So... BIOS, hello? Where BIOS? I don't see any BIOS. So whatever that profile had in it, it is very unstable. I'm just gonna load defaults as fast as possible if I get in. If not, then I think I have to do the RAM switcheroo again. Like, just swap the RAM to different slots, and that should make it load defaults, because it is frozen again. So I am going to swap the RAM sticks to different slots, and that should force it into loading defaults, I think. Also, I just realized this thing has a clear CMOS button, but now the RAM sticks are already out. Okay, we're booting up. My success rate in fixing GPUs is, it kind of depends on how you define fix. Because there's a lot of them where I know what's wrong with them, but I can't really do anything because now it actually is stuck at booting again. And it's 0-0ing. Damn. Yeah, so like any GPU that I get that has like messed up memory is theoretically fixable by swapping the memory modules, but I can't really do that. I'm missing a bit of equipment and also some skill for that. Then there's cards that I can diagnose that are just not fixable, like cards with dead cores or dead memory controllers, or like just completely foobarred PCBs like that 980 Ti. And then there's cards that I fix in ways that no one would ever want to put in their daily system again. And then there's some cards that I just fix perfectly fine. So it depends on what you define as fixed, how large the thing is. So I want this thing to boot up again though. I'm gonna do one thing. Maybe the dual rank EDI is a bit too much for the memory controller. I have some single rank EDI that I'm gonna use instead. I've ran this on the Apex and I know that it's like good. I know this stuff does at least 3600. And actually I think it does a lot more than that. It's just that the Apex is optimized for BDI and literally anything else rolls at 3600. At least in my experience. I'm probably also just bad, but... Like, I mean, 4 gigabit E-die can do, like, really high clocks. Oh, that is booting up. Only gonna have 8 gigabytes of RAM now, but not that we really care. So please actually work now. Yes, we're unbiased, nice. So no defaults. Maybe that's why that didn't... Oh yeah, that profile might have been with the single rank E-die. That might be why it doesn't work. So let's try figure out what I set in CPU. So it was... 5.5 gigahertz. Yeah, that's not what it's supposed to do. I didn't do anything. It is set to turbo performance and then everything's auto. See tweaking enabled. I disabled both. So apparently you can disable turbo boost on this and still get more than 800 megahertz. 33, well, yeah. 16, 18, 18, 38. Oh, it apparently does 1T command rate, and everything is auto in the subtimings. And I did that apparently, and I mean, now we've more or less spoiled what the CPU can do, but I'm not actually too sure. Maybe this can actually do more. I think I spent like maybe 1 or 2 hours on maxing that CPU in the past. I do BGA soldering at work, which is not that hard. Yeah, like in essence, it's not that hard. The thing I need to swap out memory chips is like first new memory chips, which are quite expensive. And then also like a, like you can do it without, but to have a good chance of success, you would probably want like a stencil for your chip and then like put, so like either you buy it pre-balled. Okay, it is at 4.7 now. Let's spoil the score that we should get. Maybe I'm just gonna put one of the G4400s in because I have never ran these CPUs before. Oh, and it crashed. Great. We don't get a score. Where was I? Oh yeah, about the so either you buy your chips pre-balled or just you need a like stencil and then like get little solder balls and put them on. I don't have any of that stuff. And it is like, at least the chips are like somewhat expensive. And there's some cards where I would be willing to invest that. I have a 980 Ti Strix that needs 3 new modules. There is a chance the memory controller is dead, but all of those dead modules are in different channels. And the other module in each channel where there's a dead one still works. And it just turned off completely. And 0, 0. No, it's not supposed to do that. Yeah, and what other cards do I have that are kind of worth? Like I have a... Well, actually, I have a 780 Ti that had a dead memory module, but like ever since then, I've gotten a lot more 780 Ti's, and also that card now has a dead vCore VRM because of some experimenting that I did. So that's not getting fixed. I have an R9 280X that has a dead module. The Pentiums aren't delidded. Yeah, like I haven't done anything to them. Oh hey, we might have broken Windows. No, don't. I want BIOS. Don't load 4.7. It's not stable. Yeah, I'm not even seeing a cursor. It's just gonna immediately crash again. Let's just reset. Was Remy chips of Tabacom pre-balled? Yeah, hopefully. Any interest in very old cards? I mean, not really. I think the oldest thing I have is an 8800 GT. Oh, no, actually, I think I have like a 2600 XT from ATI. But I'm not really that interested in them, mostly because I can't run like my usual benchmarks on them. I will run older stuff when it's like part of cheap ass chips on HW board or something like that. But probably only NVIDIA cards. I did the AMD round, like round 2, and it was awful. I bought so many cards, and I had one card that had really good memory. It sucked at everything else, but it had good memory, and because of that alone, I had like, I think the top score, or like close to the top score advantage for most of the time until somebody got a card that did even higher memory. Like that entire competition was just like who gets the best memory. And I literally had the, like, my top score was at ambient with the stock heatsink. And I had that card sub-zero and it scored worse. Because there was also some weird driver bug where like sometimes you get a really good score that's still legal, and then otherwise you get a really bad score. And yeah, so I'm not doing like old AMD cards, anything that needs legacy drivers, I'm not touching that. NVIDIA cards, older ones, I would probably do, as long as they don't have any things like cold bugs or anything, because I have heard some old NVIDIA cards are like pretty bad with that. So let's try replicating that thing where it doesn't throttle. So it was, I don't know, that shouldn't do anything, but it was enabled, and both of these were disabled. And 110, that's... Oh yeah, so now it's showing 3.74 instead of 4 gigahertz. So yeah, let's do like 130. That's about 4.4. And memory, yeah, not 5200. That's not gonna run. Let's do that, and then just put generic timings again. Apparently it does. No, actually, let's do 2T command rate, because if we raise BCLK higher, it's yeah. Let's just set something that's like mostly fine. Like we can tighten timings once we have the CPU maxed. I'm just gonna set some basic stuff like that, and then voltages, fixed mode. Let's go to that again. Level 1. Switching frequency maxed, 1.5, and then VCCIO and VCCSA, and then that potentially says it helps, but please set this voltage when, well, I'm not doing LN2. So if you're supposed to do 1.4 to 1.5 with LN2, 1.3 should be pretty much anything we would need at ambient, right? Like that sounds like we don't need to touch that. I've seen Northwest Repair, and I've also seen ChrisFix Germany. Yeah, like ChrisFix Germany has a really good setup. Like he's really good at what he does. He also seems to have good contacts, because apparently he has the ability to make custom BIOSes for 30 series cards. Because he's done some repairs where like the memory controller was dead, and he just disabled that memory channel, which as far as I know can only be done in BIOS. And then Northwest Repair, I don't know if, like, the name sounds familiar. I'm not entirely sure if I'm thinking of the right person. But I have definitely heard of them. So, yeah, we're at 4.4 now under load. That's good. So, I don't know, how long has the stream been running for? 45 minutes, and we've just now managed to not have the CPU throttle under load. Yeah, 8.29 seconds. That's almost an entire second faster than stock. That is good. Memory also applied correctly. So we can basically go from here on out. Also, is the pump on? Let's just check. Because I power cycled the system, let's just check if our CPU is not... Right, that temperature sensor is broken. I need to use hardware info. That looks good. Like, that should be good. Wait, why does it not change? That looks more 70. Well, yeah, it makes sense with the higher voltage because it was like 55 at stock voltage. So I guess this is the sensor that we... Maybe that's like CPU socket or something. That looks like it is the correct sensor. Yeah, Z170 MOC formula would be cool. Mine isn't one. The only one that I was even aware of was in Russia, and it's kind of hard to get stuff from there right now. And also for a completely like unrealistic price. I mean, this board is good enough for like doing some general stuff, messing around with things. Like the main idea of why I put the system together is to have it as like a secondary test bench that I can just like connect power to and have it run. That doesn't need any anything to set up. So let's save that profile. Oh, there's only 5 profiles? Let's just name it that. Okay. Is that 4.7 already? That goes like fast. I wanna do like 4. Nah, let's do 4.6. Like if 4.4 was stable at 1.35 volts, just 200 megahertz more shouldn't be that bad, but I think we're gonna need at least 1.4 volts now. So it gets read at 1.4, that's kind of funny. Actually, I think in MSI BIOS it gets read at like 1.35. Like, that is a bit of a high voltage for like current gen Intel stuff, because they just become uncoolable at that high of a voltage unless you have really good cooling. But like, this is a 120mm AIO with like one slow spinning fan, and we were 70 degrees in prime 95. I think we're fine. Also, let's have... That still looks like an okay frequency for the RAM, though. It should be able to handle that. Also, YouTube keeps complaining that the stream's bitrate is too low. Like, it says it's only 800 kilobytes per second. Or kilobits per second, even. I don't know why it's set to 3000. And my internet should be able to handle that. I'm upstreaming 5.5 megabits. I don't know where it's getting that like 0.8 megabit number from, because I'm not really uploading anything else right now. Wait. YouTube just autofilled one of the comments. I think it's fine. Yeah, I have a Z170 Impact, and it did very well for Coffee Lake modded in with a fan over the VRM, and that's about it. But issues with its Ethernet. Yeah, my Apex is also having Ethernet problems. Sometimes it just disconnects. Yeah, VRM wise, this should not have a problem. This is a 12 phase with 40 amp dual NFETs, I think. Like, this should be able to handle a 19900K. So we should be fine. so that now the voltage is right. It's still just a Core i7. Looks like we are okay. Oh, it's sub 8 seconds. So from 9.2 to 7.9. And yeah, let's keep pushing it. I think I'm gonna put it up to a vote once we're done with the CPU if we wanna try pushing RAM or if we just slot in one of the Pentiums and just find out what it does. Actually, removing the heatsink might be a bit annoying. Oh no, I can touch the backside of it with my hand. Because the way the cooler is mounted, it has like a backplate that just falls out when I remove it. Should try overclocking outside. Yeah, I just don't really have the option to go outside. I live next to a very busy street in the 5th story of a building. I do not have a balcony, so I can't really go anywhere. I also don't have power outlets outside. Yeah. I could have done it at my parents' place, but I no longer live there because it takes multiple hours to get to my university from there. And doing that for one semester was enough to never do it ever again. By the way, did I just forget to go into BIOS? Yeah. Are you from Germany? Yes. Okay, go to BIOS. Let's see if we can get 4.7 working. Like 4.6 is working at 1.4, and then 4.7 not working at 1.45. Like that, we very much are going to hit a wall, I think. Or maybe the CPU wasn't even the unstable. It probably was the dual rank die, because I'm somewhat sure I did it on these single rank sticks that I have right now. Like I probably don't, like it could, I think this would even run. Let's try it, because I know the sticks do at least 3600 at like, I actually don't know what timings. I think it was CO 16 or even 15, and then I don't remember what TRCD it was. It might have been actually higher than 18. Might have been 19. I'm not entirely sure. It seems to load though. As long as it finishes Super Pi, I'm fine. Okay, it crashed though. So I need to... That was... TRCD is probably too low then. Probably needs 19. Yeah, putting my radiator next to the window is a thing that I could do. I can also just like open the windows fully and then just have cold front come in. Like I'm pretty high up on a building. It's just like cold air outside. The one problem is the noise, because living in the city means loud stuff being outside. It crashed again because I didn't go into BIOS. I just talked again. Going into BIOS being that hard is not something I expected to realize today. Okay, so not voltage, DRAM. That probably needs one higher. I'm actually not entirely sure about this. Just gonna do 40. Are we gonna do? Okay, yeah, I'm. We're doing C-die timings. And also like put that a bit higher. It should do 4416. It should do that. But I'm just gonna put C die timings on anything else. Yeah, like the sticks can definitely go really fast. I'm just not entirely sure if the board or the memory controller can handle it. Like, E-die is a pretty good chip. Like, it should be able to do 5 gigahertz. Like, you should be able to just get a random E-die OEM stick and do 5 gigahertz with it. You just, like... And it crashed again. I'm gonna blame the memory controller and go back to lower frequency. So apparently there's something wrong with this. Not that we care about RAM. Yeah, I think once we're done with the CPU, and like I don't really have anything else planned to do later, I think I'm gonna take one of the G4400s and slot it in, just for fun. Those are not delidded, but I have also never run those CPUs before, so those will be a interesting thing to figure out. Yeah, so like, those are the CPUs. The one with thermal paste on it is a G3900. I got this with my Apex, and it crashed again. It needs more vCore, I guess. And those two are the G4400s that I got sent by ASIC together with the 6700 here, and I have not ran these yet. I have no idea what those do. I think the 3900 did 4.85 or 4.95 at like suicidal vCore. So, yeah. Okay, it's gone completely frozen up. Let's wait a little bit so it doesn't turn on by itself again. Just disconnect the CD drive, it makes weird sounds every time. So let's push 1.5 volts. Like I don't know why this would be unstable. Like, oh, we're back at stock. So let's load this. This we know is stable. And we want yeah, 4.7. We want 4.7. Can't be that high. I think I'm pretty sure I at some point had 4.8 on this CPU. It might have been at like 1.55 volts, but I'm pretty sure I did 4.8 on it. Why is it set to that? Did we forget to set that? I guess it doesn't change anything then. Yeah, let's leave it then. 1.5. Actually, does it like go any redder at some point? No, it doesn't. I'm willing to go up to 1.55 on the 4 core, 1.6 on the 2 cores. Like everything else, like could try this higher. Let's like do 3.5. Oh, well, that's very rough control. Maybe that's the thing that was on Asus, because they're about, yeah, memory training. This can help with memory training. I think I set this to like 1 volt or 1.1 volts on the Asus board to get like better timings to post. I think I'm good with the 2 trays that I have, because I don't have that many other CPUs, but thanks for offering to send more. I still have 2 sticks of C-die. Yeah, I I mean, CDI is a... Like, it kind of is a bad chip, but apparently the sub-timings are not that bad. If you manually tune your CDI, you can still get pretty good performance from it. You're just gonna have to accept that the clock speed, the main timings, and your voltage scaling are going to be really bad. But the sub-timings apparently are actually not that bad, and some people apparently have the magic to get CDI to post at higher than 3600. I don't know how they do that, but I have seen people do it. Okay, we're at 4.7 and we're in Windows and we're not crashing. 1.488 volts, yep. Now that's bugged out again. 50 degrees idle, that sounds like 1.5 volts. Okay, let's see if it actually runs though. Like, if this doesn't run, then we have basically no hope left. Okay, 7.8 seconds. So, only 74 degrees maximum though. Like, it's just staying at max clock and idle. That's why the idle temps are so high. YouTube is complaining again. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. There will be buffering. Well, I'm sending more data than YouTube's getting. It might just be that their servers are just caught up right now. I guess I'm just bad with CDI then, if you can do 3933. Yeah, voltage doesn't do anything on CDI. Actually, it does something on it, which is kill it. I've had a CDI kit once, and it died running at XMP after like 3 months. And then I bought the CJR kit that I used for a long time, which actually I don't really have a use for right now, because my test bench has BDI now, and this thing doesn't like 8 gigabit chips, I think. And EE dies better anyway. Okay, so we can save this to StreamOC then, because it passed SuperPi. So let's try 4.8, because I'm pretty sure I had it working at 4.8 at some point. Do we keep 1.5 volts? Let's just do 1.55. Let's just not touch VCore ever again. I'm just setting 1.55, and like, we're not gonna run that long term. It will be fine for a few short runs. We throw away what feels like hundreds of these every week. Yeah, I mean, yeah. The main problem with these CPU trays is that they're no longer fitting current CPUs, I think. Because, like, yeah, these only work with, like, LGAs that are, like, not Alder Lake shaped. Oh, that didn't work at all. So that's 4.8 not happening. I thought I had 4.8 working. Maybe it was the G3900 then. Does it at least do 4.75 then? Like, we can't do an exact one. I mean, 4.7 is already in the, well, actually, I don't know, it might be average. I think a really good 6700K would be like 4.9. I don't think 4.7 is in the like good CPU range, but it is definitely better than those people who get stuck at 4.5. Also, if the CPU had better cooling, I would probably maybe be able to do 4.8. I just don't really have, like, I could use the custom water loop from my other test bench, but that kind of defeats the purpose of having this test bench because I don't want to tear apart the other to use this one. And that AIO is just kind of the best that I have. Okay. I have a feeling it's just going to die immediately once I press OK. Oh, no, it's actually... That is looking a lot better than an instant blue screen at just 50 megahertz more. Huh. 7.7 seconds. So from 9.2 to 7.7 seconds. Yeah, I mean... I don't think the memory does matter that much, because it is only 4 cores. At like relatively low speeds compared to like Coffee Lake. Like, my 8700K does 5.3 at less voltage than this. Okay, I want to see if 4.775 works. If that works, then the 4.8 crash might have just been, I don't know, something random. Ah, we still... Let's do that. Let's do... Let's a bit more than 7.5. I also wonder why the... So I have two 140 millimeters on the right side here. Those speed up when it's posting, but that fan doesn't seem to change. Even though that one's plugged into the CPU header and the others are in regular fan headers. Like that one's a 3-pin, the others are 4 pins, but I think the board is smart enough to detect that, right? Oh, yeah, okay, no. 4.75 is the limit. Okay, so how much faster is that if we... so we had 7.7 seconds. It's pretty much exactly a 20% difference. I mean, that's not too bad. It's 70%. Like... not 70, 20%. What did I say? Like 20% is a decent amount. It's like outside of that sort of... It's not really worth overclocking range, because if you can't get more than 10% extra by overclocking, the extra power consumption and heat and potentially lower lifespan of your component is probably not worth the extra performance, because, like, what was it? I've been told that less than 7% difference is basically impossible to feel. Like, if your FPS just suddenly increase or decrease by 7%, you probably won't notice unless you're, like, data logging it and checking it constantly. But, like, 20% sounds, like, good. And, yeah, I think I'm gonna swap one of the 4400s in. I actually wonder, are they, like, different batches? They are. I have no idea how to tell what the batch is or which one is better. They seem to be the same stepping. But I'm just gonna pick one at random, I guess. Let's turn this off. Also, I kinda wanna move the GPU down a slot to have better access to the CPU. So, I'm gonna move it here. Let's make the view big for that. Oh, that wonderful film grain. Card got quite hot. Oh yeah, I painted the memory chips on this for some reason. I don't know, I was bored, I guess. So now we should have a much better access to the memory chip, CPU area. So I'm gonna have to hold the plate from, actually I can disconnect the first two screws without that. Okay, now I have to hold it. thermopaste could have been better. Yeah, I kind of like have to let go of that to. Actually, no, I don't. I can swap the CPU with one hand. The one thing that I don't like about Skylake CPUs is because the PCB is like really thin. Much thinner than like Core 2 Duos or like, I think also Coffee Lakes. Okay, I'm gonna pick the left Pentium. Okay. Yeah, I know I need to let go of it because there's no fun. Oh, actually it's resting on the PSU. Nice. This entire ordeal was not necessary. Okay. I'm just gonna do a generic blob. Have some GD900. Like there's still some on the air cooler anyway. Okay. I really don't like the mounting system of this. There's like very little pressure on the socket only. Like this metal bracket is supposed to be kind of like a spring, but it really doesn't have a lot of, there's not really a lot of tension in it. Like, yeah, like the screws are maxed out, they're bottomed out. The thread does not go farther than that. Well, actually on that one it keeps going. But like, now the screws are all maxed and like, that's still moving. But like, yeah. Can't really do anything about that. I could like put some washers under that, but I don't think I have any that fit right now. So let's put the cable back in. Yeah, it doesn't really matter where the cable goes. And let's see if it posts. Oh, I just realized you can't see the postcode anymore. Yeah, that's bad. So we need to put the GPU in again. It does do something though, so it's not 0-0ing. So the CPU is at least not dead. Yeah, it's there again. Okay. There it goes. And it turned off. Okay, it's doing some memory training. Didn't get stuck at 55, that's good. We're probably gonna get B2 right like just about now, or not? Yeah, there's B2. And there's picture. They were pulled from dead machines, but I tested them, so they should work just fine. Yeah, like, CPUs usually don't die. Wait, 4.6? Wait, what? Oh, because it's, yeah, because it saved the settings. Let's do defaults. I was gonna say 4.6 Pentium? Skylake? What? Yeah, 3.3, that sounds more like a Pentium. Let's not forget to... Wait, this has more options. It has a power limit. What? Oh, so this does this just not have turbo boost? Okay. That I don't know what, like, it shouldn't really change anything, but I had that at this setting on the other CPU. Just check if it does 110. That's just like kind of the base that it should do. DDR2 speeds. Just kind of try to keep it around like. The single rank stuff should do 1T command, right? Actually, I don't know how good the memory control on this is. I'm gonna do 2T. Because it's a Pentium. It might be very bad. Also, the DRAM voltage is way more than we should ever need. Like, this would probably run at 1.35, but, you know, it's not like it hurts anything. Let's just try run 1 volt. Oops, no. It kinda helped. No, this one's now only at 1 volt. Huh? So I'm just gonna set that to 1.3, I guess. I don't know. Let's see if we even post. And it is... Oh yeah, it's gone past memory training really quick. Or more like into the not boot looping part of the memory training. This Spurs has tons more options than my crappy Asus board, lol. Well, yeah, like, if you buy an Asus board that's not an Apex, you just kind of don't get any options. Because they want, like... Yeah. Like, there's 2 Asus boards that have all the options. That's the Apex, aka the one that you want, and the Extreme, aka the one that's super expensive. And, like, all the other boards just, like, don't have any options because they want you to buy the Extreme. So... Okay, it applied correctly. Oh no, it's it clearly says G4400 on the chip, but apparently it's a G4500T now. With a 33 multiplier at a max of 30. Yeah, so like the BCLK stuff does funny things to the CPU reporting. Let's see if the temperature is also broken, like on the other CPU. It is. But this is still reporting. Yeah, that looks about normal for a non-delidded CPU. Actually, where is my delidding tool? Could I could delete one of the CPUs at the end of the stream. I don't have any liquid metal left, I think, but I can just like change the thermal paste to a new thermal paste. Okay, let's see what kind of time we get. I didn't even check stock on this, I just noticed. Also, this doesn't have hyperthreading, so this is 2 cores, 2 threads. So it's probably less than half, no, still 10 seconds. Why is this? This is like just under a 6700 at stock. And this is only 3.6. Why is this so fast? Huh? Oh, because it's a single-threaded benchmark. I just realized SuperPi's single thread. Yeah, that makes sense. Because at 3.6 and stock 67 is 3.7. Oh, I forgot this isn't multi-threaded. Oh, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. What kind of temperatures do we get in Prime 95 with this? Maybe Cinebench was a good idea after all. At 53. Like, just 2 cores. Kind of makes sense. Do I even have Cinebench? I have like a 1 USB stick. Don't worry about that. I'll delete it. Do I have Cinebench in here somewhere? CPU Z classified tool. No, I don't think I even have Cinebench anywhere. Unless it's in here. No. I have that, which, does it work? It does. Like, is that multi-threaded? I don't know if it's multi-threaded. Oh, that takes a long time. Can I stop that? That looks like it's no longer gonna load. Yeah, I don't think I have any multi-threaded things except just 3D Mark. I don't do that much CPU stuff, so yeah. Okay, let's just. Oh wait, is it actually a 4500T? Maybe I just looked wrong. The other I have here says G4400 on it. I don't really know. I think they both said 4400 on them. And I didn't go to BIOS again. Like, it says that, but like you can't really trust that once you go above 103. I was fooled by CPU Z. Does it actually report, like, I wonder if it reports that if it's at stock BCLK as well, then, like, maybe someone did some funky firmware rewrites on the thing. Yeah, I think the T-SKUs are like the, for like the little box PCs that you find in schools a lot. So, let's do 4 gigahertz. Oh, this is gonna be... No, actually, this is not gonna be that high. I want an even 4. Oh, oh, come on. I want an even 4. Do we need to adjust voltage for that? I don't think we need to adjust voltage for that. We need to adjust this, though. Also, is it actually beeping? Because I have a beeper here. I guess it's not. Huh. Yeah, this thing is supposed to beep at post. I guess it's not doing that. Might be broken. So, show me 4 gigahertz. Yes, we have 4 gigahertz. And I mean, if that doesn't run, the CPU has to be really bad. Oh, now it's just an Intel Pentium. Okay, 9.9 seconds. Oh yeah, the multiplier has lowered again to 27 maximum. It's, yeah. Any specific piece of hardware you're looking for right now? Not really. Like, I have a video about a 460 that's going up soon. That is just kinda a bit of a special card, but not really, that I got. And I got it mostly because it just looked funny. It's just like, I'm not really looking for a specific piece of hardware. Let's just go in 200 megahertz steps until we hit the maximum. But like, we can do like 4.5, I guess. It should do at least that. Yeah, like when I pick up hardware, it's mostly just because someone sends it into a Discord chat and I see it and I go like, that's kind of cool, I want that. Because by now I have so much stuff, I would mostly be fine just working with what I have. Like, the one thing that I wanna get is I wanna make more e-powers, or if I find some like pre-made e-powers for sale, I wanna get that for hopefully somewhat cheap. It does not wanna. It's stuck. It really is stuck. So I guess it needs more than 1.35. Yeah, that's that. Oh. Huh. Yeah, but like, my current projects are I have a couple cards that could use an e-power. I have several e-power boards that are theoretically ready to go on a board. It's just that they are either not really the class of powerful that I would want, or maybe some of them are kind of hard to attach. Like I have two 580 direct CO2 power boards, which are just kind of hard to attach because they don't have that big of a like the solder pads on them are not really that big. And it's also in a shape where you can't really do it with copper plates, which is how I mostly want to do it. And I have that 980 Ti e-power. That one has the proper shape, but I don't think it actually is powerful enough for the thing that I would put it on. So yeah, it's just like if I find a card for cheap that can be turned into an e-power easily, I would probably pick that up. Or if I find anyone having like an e-power 5 or a Hall of Fame power, or like the older EVGA e-power for sale for cheap, I would probably also pick that up. Yeah, because I have a 780 that I got sent that has a crater in the PCB, and this is not posting again. Just wanted to bias, damn it. I have to do that again. Yeah, so I have a reference 780 that had a completely blown up vCore VRM. Like no hope of ever fixing that the proper way, and even at full strength that VRM is borderline. So I was like, yep, e-power. The one problem being I already have a 780 with an e-power 5. So I didn't want to use the other one that I have on it, which leaves basically only the direct CO2 e-power board that's powerful enough for that, which I could do, but I'm not going to be able to use copper plates because of how that e-power is. And is it actually stuck? Oh boy. Oh no, it's doing something. Did we forget to set RAM speed or something? Or did I forget that? 7.8. I don't remember what 7.8 is. What is 7.8? Clear CMOS? I don't really know if that even is a CMOS clear button. It should have one, but it has that one button in the that kind of looks like I just cleared CMOS. Or not. Oh no, it is getting there. Come on, just give me to BIOS. I need more vCore. Come on. Oh. System failed to boot several times. Yeah, I noticed that. I keep getting Gigabyte P43, 3545 boards when it seem cheap. Yeah. Gigabyte P45, as far as I know, pretty good. P30, 45 good, because it has that super good like validation board. And 35, as far as I know, really bad. I think for 35 you wanna get an Asus board, as far as I know. Oh, we made it to BIOS. Oh, it is super slow. Oh, what the hell happened? Something ain't right. Oh, is the pump maybe off and the CPU is like power throttling super hard? Maybe that's the thing? Is the socket like really warm? It's kinda warm. Just gonna load defaults and boot it. I can try unplugging the cable real quick. Well, the pump is running now. I didn't really hear any bubbles go, so it was probably running. Okay, I'm just gonna boot it once, just to see that it actually works. It's taking quite a lot of time to load into Windows. What did I do? We are at all default settings. Why is it just not working? It looks like it's stuck again. I wonder how 6700Ks compare with something like i3 10th gen. The 10th gen ones, I don't know. I think 11th or 12th gen was like where they about matched. At least at like stock. Yeah, it does not want to get past B4. Whatever that is. Just stuck. Maybe just power cycling it again? It is not the most seamless and painless overclocking experience, this thing. But at least you can overclock things that Intel says you are not allowed to overclock. I mean, this kind of feels just like LJ775, but DDR4. I mean, that's essentially what it is. Okay, we're posting into Windows this time, which is good. Now we can finally run stock speed. But first I'd like to check if my pump is actually running, because we just power cycled. Wait, what? 0.4 volts? Did I just read that right? Yeah, that looks good. Okay, let's see the stock speed performance. Probably like 12 seconds. I want to say 12 seconds probably. Oh no, 11.38. Okay. Good, so let's just write that down for stock. Now it says the 4400 again. CPU is having a hard time deciding what it wants to be. Oh, pulling the 24 pin works on MLCF to just make it like safe. Well, maybe that... Yeah, that could make it like post the system has failed to post message. Okay, where were we? Like, we were doing 4.5. So let's get that down a little bit. Oh, 4.5, and we disable this. We set that to 3200 or thereabouts, 16, 18, 36, 2T. Those subtimings are too atrocious to accept. I need to set them. Okay, fixed mode. Probably more than we need for 4.5. No, actually, like, we might actually need that for 4.5. Okay. And and no, that one was 1 volt. That was 1.3. Should be, I think. At least that's what we had at max for the 6700. I should just save that again to stream OC. Okay, now we have the proper vCore, hopefully. Let's just not get stuck at the BIOS splash screen again. Oh yeah, we're going into Windows. So basically 11.4 was stock. This one's gonna be a much bigger percentage improvement because I think it's probably going to max lower than the 6700. But I think we're gonna get pretty close. Like, I mean, 4.5 already works. So only 2 meg, like, yeah, 8.6 seconds. Just works. That TRFC though. That's like what I would run at like 3600 and we're at 3200. Not even 3200. This is like, yeah. Oh yeah, this is also the Encore thing. So on Coffee Lake, you can set your Encore unsynced from your core clock. But on this, as far as I know, Encore is always tied to core clock, and Encore maxes a lot sooner than core clock. Like on my 8700K, I run 5 gigahertz Encore and 5.3 cores. There's no hope that I would ever get 5.3 Encore working, which I think is like one of the main reasons why Skylake and KB Lake, but it's mostly Skylake, don't really do that high core clock, because it's just the Encore also goes high and becomes very weird. Like my 8700K can actually do 5.2 Encore and it will pass benchmarks, it will just crash randomly at idle, which is like what I've been told is indicative of weird Encore. You have a 6700K and 2 compatible motherboards but can't start it with either one. I mean, if it has bent pins, usually just lead the board to like not work or like only have one memory channel. If 2 of them bridge, that could cause a short circuit, but they shouldn't. As far as I know, they're built in a way that it's pretty hard to make them short. If the CPU doesn't work in any board though, then the CPU might actually be dead. Like, it does happen. It is kind of hard to kill a CPU, but it does happen. I've known someone who's put CPUs in the freezer overnight to make them work again, which is like kind of the same idea as heat gunning things, and technically it also should only work for a short amount of time, but as far as I know, those CPUs have always worked after that. So just try putting the CPU in the freezer maybe. I don't really know. I don't know why it makes them work again. Like, a thermoshock should only like make it work for a little bit. But if you have nothing to lose, like, cooling something down is not as bad as torching something with a heat gun. So I'm a lot more open to the idea of putting things in the freezer. Well, 4.6 seems fine. We're like within 200 megahertz of the 6700 now. Shorted caps at the back of a Z170 Impact killed your 4690K. That is a thing? Like shorted caps on a motherboard? Oh, did it like burn through the socket and then damage the CPU, or what happened? Heat gunning killed one of your graphics cards for good. Yeah, that's what it usually does. Don't believe people on the internet saying it works. Okay, so 4.6 works. If this thing ends up getting a better core clock than the 6700, that would be... Well, that would be good for me, because I could sub this to HW board, because I don't think many... Well, actually, I checked the G3900 and someone had it on a, like, LN2. I could try my phase change. I do have a mounting bracket for CPUs on it. I just have to put my phase change on my desk, which will be interesting. So 4.6 works. A lot more painless than the 6700. Let's just keep going until we need more voltage, I guess. Let's check on the RAM. That should still be fine. That's like my main issue with 775. So I have an Asus P5E, otherwise known as the Rampage formula without all the overclocking buttons and stuff, but it is essentially the same board. So it's an X38 board, it's DDR2. And that board is pretty good, like it's a pretty good board. The problem is it's DDR2, and I've been told I have pretty good DDR2 chips for that board, but every time I try to do some 775 overclocking, I end up maxing out the memory first. And I don't have a DDR3 LGA 775 board. So I guess I should invest in one. Because I don't have any good DDR3, but just because of the higher clocks that DDR3 has, it should just work better. Okay, 8.46 seconds, and 4.7 just works. Nice. Let's try 4.8. If it just does, like, yeah. I mean, technically the CPU has a lot less thermal density, like there's only 2 cores instead of 4, and it doesn't have hyperthreading, which also should reduce like the amount of heat that it outputs by quite a lot. Like, I don't actually know if the Pentiums are the same die as the quad cores. They might be, they might not be, I'm really not sure. I guess we'll find out when I delid the CPU at the end of the stream. Because as far as I know, the Pentium silicon usually sucks. And that it does higher than like a liquid metal 6700 is a bit surprising. Then again, my G3900 also did pretty high, though that was at like 1.65 volts, which I'm not willing to do on the 6700. I actually need that CPU to like work. Okay, so 4.8. Let's run that, and I'm reading comments. I don't exactly know if the caps were at fault, but multiple SMD components got ripped off and bridged. Board wouldn't boot with the CPU installed, and after putting it back into my Z97 SoC, it 102'd. Oh, did it like kill the memory channel? 202 wouldn't boot at all. Pads at the back of the CPU also look burned. Yeah, that sounds like the short happened. Okay, it just does 4.8. 8.2 seconds. I wonder why it's so much slower though. Like 7.7 was the 6700s. And this doesn't have hyperthreading. This should actually have slightly better single core efficiency, because hyperthreading like takes away some single core. Then again, it could just be that it's running SuperPi on the same core that Windows is using. Let's see what happens if I... Wait, no, I want... Huh? Go to details. SuperPi. I can also set priority higher. And affinity. I want to have it just on CPU 1. Maybe that makes our score better. Like, there's a bunch of software tweaks that you can do for SuperPi, because it's the same architecture as the 6700, and we are at a higher core clock speed. Yeah, 7.8 seconds. It's still a bit slower at slightly higher clock speed, but this is like within margin of error, especially like because RAM. Yeah. Okay, it just does 4.8. So it is better than the 6700 technically. Does higher core clocks. And we're not even at what, like 1.5 volts yet. We can keep going. .9. I kind of doubt that this will work. Like if this, it could be that this is just a 5 gigahertz capable CPU. But I'm pretty sure it's gonna wall now. DDR3 hasn't been great in my experience, slightly better than DDR2 at best. Yeah, like the actual performance on it and the overclocking experience shouldn't be that great because it is like the first gen. But I mainly wanted one for like frequency validations because you should be able to go to higher BCLK or like FSB on that one before you hit a frequency where your RAM can't go higher than like compared to DDR2. Oh no, wait, actually, I think you addressed this. Even at way higher clocks, similar scores between DDR2 and DDR3. Oh no, it's still talking about actual performance. And yeah, it looks like we're soft. It does not want to boot. Yeah, like the actual performance. Yeah, like it's a first gen memory controller. Like the first generation of any memory controller usually sucks. Like, just look how much better 13th gen is than 12th gen memory controller on Intel, and like how bad AM5 is. And I mean, X99 was the first DDR4 controller. That thing is like... Okay, I think we can try the save mod thing. So, just unplug. This is like one of those power supplies that really don't want you to remove the 24 pin. Okay. Let's see if it just acts like safe boot now. If you want easy SuperPi tweaks, use the stuff put into new Benchmade. Yeah, I need to look into that. I've never used Benchmade because I thought it's just like a thing that makes screenshots for you, but apparently it does a lot more than that. So, are we like we should be at stock settings now, right? Yeah, it's everything at stock. It still shows 0.5 volts. Like, I mean, at 3.3 gigahertz, it probably works, but eh. It's just stuck again. So instead of letting it go to Windows, I should have just gone to BIOS and selected whatever I wanted. Does it work now, or do we just get stuck again? It kind of looks like we're getting stuck again, so let's power cycle it again. The LEDs on the motherboard are so useful, you can tell by which time the PSU is drained. And also the LEDs themselves help draining the PSU. Come on, just let me into BIOS. I also should change the title of the stream because they're not on the 6700 anymore. I'm just gonna... it's stuck again, god damn it. give it one reset. Let's see if it does that while I rename the stream. I guess we're unplugging the 24 pin again. I was kind of hoping I didn't have to do that because it... Yeah. Let's make sure it's actually empty. Okay. I kind of wish there was just like an extra switch on the 24 pin to just like cut power to it. Why did it just turn off? And do we get BIOS? Yes! We get BIOS. Okay, load that. Whatever that was. So that was 4.6. Is that? Okay, that's a bit more than we want. Just want 4.9 for now. And this time, no, this time, just go straight 1.55. It's such a small CPU, it shouldn't really care. Okay. I do need to go for a minute. I'll be right back. Yeah, don't disk check. Oh. Okay. 1.6 volts? Here's a Pentium. I have two of them. I can blow one of them up. And it, like 1.6 is not even gonna blow it up. It's just like... I wouldn't run Prime 95 on that anymore because it might degrade it very, very quickly. Why the bench in case? Because this is the backup test bench. Yeah, improvising it with the extension. Is it? It's stuck again. God damn it. I want to be unplugging the 24 pin every time we need to restart. Yeah, like, you could do it by modding an extension. It's just, it would be kind of complex because I think you would want to cut like... Actually, I don't know, what line would you need to cut? Because I think you'd need to cut more than one line and you can't just use one switch for that. That would just short everything together. So... Damn it! Why crash? Why crash? Like, I'm surprised you made it into Windows if it can't even run the BIOS at this. Like, doesn't even... Reset's just broken as well. Time for another power cycle. You can just use single switch with some FETs. Yeah, you would have to like make your own little thing. Would you be interested in looking into... Let's hope this posts. Well, benchmarks, I've just been running SuperPi, basically. Mostly this is just a question of like, hey, how high does it go? Did it just crashed again. Ay, ay, ay. There goes the 24 pin again. I think that's both good and bad about this power supply is that the like +4 of the 24 pin is just completely independent of the main plug. Like you can totally forget to plug it in. Which makes it easier to plug both of them in, but also makes it easy to forget the second one. Yeah, let's just speed run loading defaults. Did it? Oh, come on. It crashed on the load default screen. Why? Like, why did it even crash? I thought this is supposed to make it act like, you know. I don't really know how to force this thing to... Yeah, it's stuck again. I don't know how to force this thing to do the overclock failed screen. Like on MSI, it's really easy. Just fail to post a couple times, you get it. On Gigabyte, it kind of works the same. On this, I've seen it like once. Like it just gets stuck. Does it even have a it does have a CMOS battery. Okay, looks like I... No, it still says 4.9. Why? No, it was at stock, but crashed. What? We are at stock. Why? Why? Or does it actually not apply until I say, like, save and exit? Oh, I need to save. Yeah, great. Yeah, so like the thing with the... I'm not even sure what is the clear CMOS button on this. There's a button here. I don't think that is that. And then there's one on the back I/O. Like, I think the one on the back I/O is clear CMOS. When I like press it. I like the Asus implementation of clear CMOS better, because that also cuts power to the motherboard when you press it. No, I want BIOS. Maybe I just cleared the CMOS. It seems to be weird. It seems to be not all that consistent. Yeah, it's just stuck now. So that was not clear CMOS. I don't know where the clear CMOS switch is then. Maybe it's a jumper? No, I want... Why is it... I want the goddamn BIOS. to press that and then the retry button. That's kind of stupid. So defaults and save. No. It crashed again. I think I'm just gonna yeet the CMOS battery. Like, oh, how do we get in there? Oh, it's like all the way down there. There's like this weird mount as well. Like, I think they just copy pasted that from the MOCF because it doesn't make any sense on a full ATX board. I can't get that thing out. It's gonna do the dumb thing and get it out like that. Doesn't even wanna come out. Can't get the damn CMOS battery out. To take the GPU. If it can't save CMOS settings if it doesn't have a CMOS battery. We're just gonna have to remember to save every time we do something and then power cycle. There we go. Huh, that's interesting. Did I not turn it off? Did I forget that? It is stuck in a memory boot loop again. For some reason. Oh, it's doing that. Yeah, it's like 0019 4C. Just repeating. That usually means I am upset with you and I want my memory channels to be changed. Like, I don't know why, but putting the RAM sticks into the other slots, booting once, fixes that. That's also a thing that I saw on LGA 775 a lot. Like, if you can't post, just put the RAM sticks in a different slot and now it works. Only problem being that it's a daisy chain and that's not optimal. No, it's still doing it. Why the hell is it? What? Like, I'm pressing the button. But... oh, yeah, what is that? Not right now, we're not flying a plane. Just work, please? No? You need different BIOS chip, maybe fix that. No, the other BIOS chip is also not working. Is this where the stream ends? Because a lot of my stream ends. Like, a lot of my live streams end because my hardware just decides to not cooperate anymore. Because this is pretty much my only way of fixing this. It's just putting the RAM sticks in a different slot. And it's not fixing it. But beside the battery, there's a jumper. Oh, getting in there is gonna be interesting. I don't actually see a jumper right there. That's just the slot for the like Wi-Fi card. What's the issue? I've seen you struggle for the last 10 minutes. It doesn't want to post. Right now, it doesn't even want to detect any memory installed. So the last thing I could try is just try straight up different memory. Let's use the CJR kit again. And that will hopefully make it retrain the memory. Or like at least realize something's up and then reset to default. Oh yeah, it is doing something. You have an X99 Pro with a blown MOSFET. Well, yeah, if you can replace that, then it should work again. Nope, it is also boot looping now. Why? Like, I've had a boot loop before, but swapping out the RAM has always fixed it. Until now, I guess. Oh, now we're seeing 32, but it's just stuck. Like... It doesn't look happy. Like, it does not look happy at all. How was removing the CMOS... How did remove the CMOS battery make it worse? Removing the CMOS battery is usually supposed to make it better. I try no memory. Is that gonna help? I can try it. There's no memory at all. Let's see what it does now. Well, it's detecting that there's no memory. Though 53? Doesn't 55 mean no memory detected? And now install it again and hope that it works. Oh, well, let's try. I don't... Wow. 1.35 volts can't kill the memory controller. That would be very weird. Oh, did I install it? No, it's the right way around. I'm just stuck. And oh, something is happening. Let's just hope it actually does lead to something and doesn't just fail and then boot loop again. Oh. Oh. So now you know what I went through with the X370K7. Yeah, I do. I used to have that board. And I used to run AFR on it. Okay. Defaults. Just post into Windows at default settings once. And then we can continue. If you didn't remove the battery for long enough, that could be the issue. Yeah. That's why I like press the start button whenever I do that, because it should drain all the power that's left in like any capacitors and stuff. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay. It looks like we might see Windows after I don't know how many minutes of troubleshooting now. The cherry on top would be the pump not running. Just check that. No, the temperatures are fine. Okay, and it runs, I presume. It does. 32 degrees under load. Wait, what? Is that really what the CPU does at stock? 34. Damn. This is not even delidded. Well, I suppose it's a dual core. Okay. Let's continue. So we had 4.8 pass. It's 4.9 didn't work at all. Like, we can do 1.6. We can just do 1.6. A solid 15 minutes just to get to Windows. Yeah, that's why this is a live stream and not a video, because no one would watch that. I now get a mild panic every time I see it not move on from a postcode for, like, immediately. Because I'm thinking it's gonna get stuck again and we're gonna be back to square one. Okay, so we are apparently in Windows at 4.85 and the temperature sensor says 48 degrees, 52 idle. That sounds like 1.6 volts. Let's see if it actually runs. The answer may shock you. Yeah. Still slower than the 6700, but that's probably because of this again. Let's see if we can beat the 6700 now. Because we are already outclocking it by quite a lot. Well, relatively quite a lot. Also 82 degrees. Okay, we're just kind of like matching the 6700. 83 degrees, that is way hotter than the 6700 was. And that has twice the cores and hyperthreading. But okay, we didn't run that at 1.6 volts. Okay, so I'm gonna save this as a profile. Can you lower cache? No, I cannot. That's a Skylake thing. That's like the main reason why it maxes out so low, because the cache just runs into a limit and you can't put the cores higher because they're both tied together. So, like, I only have this. I don't even have like a CPU like, what is it, multiplier. Like, this is all the CPU settings that I have. So, like, technically it says the cache is only at 3.2, but it's not. Let's try this. You only have one 120 rad, isn't that an issue? Kinda, like 82 degrees, you just saw it. Also, the pump from this thing sometimes turns off, which is fun. It's just the best cooler that I have that doesn't require me to tear apart my other test bench. I should probably invest in like a decently sized tower heatsink or something that just has a lot of thermal mass and I can put a high-speed fan on. Because this thing is a bit, yeah. Actually, I do have an extra CPU block and an extra pump. I would just need to like buy a radiator. I would have pretty much everything ready for just a small custom loop that's only CPU. Could just buy a radiator. Like I even have like two 280mm fans right here. Anyway, 4.875. let's see. Like, reminder that 4.9 didn't even get into Windows. Admittedly at less voltage than this, but okay. It's basically the same performance, but without the tweak, whatever. Like, temperatures might actually become an issue here. My main issue that I would have with the tower heatsink is that it will like block access to the RAM and also make it quite hard to swap GPUs, especially in like this thing, because this is like basically just a case. I wanted to go to BIOS. More voltage is sometimes the answer. Well, we're already at 1.6 volts. There's not that much more that we can push into this. Like, I'm fine if the CPU blows up, I just don't think we actually might get more stability, because it just gets too hot now. Does it do 4.9 now? Or is those 25 megahertz actually just where it stops? Like, doing 4.9 is what caused the entire mess where it didn't want to boot. The only difference is that now we're at 1.6 volts instead of 1.55. Just get the cheapest Asetek 280 AIO you can find. Now that's the thing, like I already have pretty much everything to make a custom loop except the radiator. Like, I would just do that. Oh. Okay. It's a bit more stable than before. Okay, let's give it another 50 millivolts. Also, one thing about cooling performance with this is that the mounting system for this AIO is awful. Like, just look at that. You cannot put it tighter than this. And it swaps around like that. Like, the screws that it comes with is just, yeah. ASIC says, I hear you need a radiator. I mean, yeah. Like a 240 or 280, I would think. Just main thing, not made out of aluminum, because the block I have is copper. Like, if you have one lying around and want to send one, then sure, feel free to do that. I have a bunch. Oh. Couple 32 360s. And 420s. Oh. I mean, if you wanna send them and don't have any use for them, sure, I'll take some. I could actually, like, I could upgrade the second radiator in my main test bench too. That's a 240. I do technically have space for a 360. Expect a package to arrive soon then, I guess. Okay. That's cool, thank you very much. That would also be like, one thing that I would be more willing to do is then, if I have like an extra radiator, is like do things such as ice buckets. Because I did it with the 240, that's my test bench once, and it started to rust immediately. And then I never did ice bucket radiator again. But if I have like an extra, oh, why did I just open that? Yeah, but if you have a bunch of radiators that you don't need, that are basically junk, then I could try something like that. Okay. 4.9. 1.65 volts. Let's see if it runs SuperPi. Admittedly, I think running SuperPi is not really that big of a hurdle, because it is quite light and single-threaded. Hey, I think we've finally beaten the 6700. Without tweaking, even. One, go to details, real time please, and I only want you to run on core number 2 or number 1 or whatever. I literally have no idea what to do with them here. They're just collecting dust. Well, I'm happy to help you find use for them then. That time is worse. Why is that time worse? Like, admittedly, this OS is terrible. Like, I didn't even do that. I wonder how much time that shaves off. Yeah, okay. Okay, so we have 4.9. I have a feeling we're not quite gonna get 5 because of how hard it was to get here. But let's try. I'm not gonna increase vCore anymore. 1.65 is the limit. Wouldn't be surprised if we just went into the 90s while doing this. I kinda wanna just try it, but I have a feeling we're just going to get into another 20-minute troubleshooting session if I do that. So let's try something that's like a little bit more reasonable. Man, the one annoying thing about winter is it's only 4 p.m. and it's already getting dark. Because I've been looking out the window and was like, how long have I been streaming for? It's not late, it's just... oh. Okay. Yeah, 5 gigahertz is not happening, not on this cooler. Yeah, I could actually, like... I could check. I think I saw the pump a while ago. You guys get sunlight? Well, not anymore. I'm not entirely sure where I left that pump. I might actually have slight issues with fittings, though actually I think I have at least 4 that I still haven't used. So I'm at maximum 2 short. But like fittings are cheap. I can just order some if I'm missing some of them. Oh no, we're back to crashing. I'm gonna restart, I'm gonna reset, and if it gets back into BIOS and we can try 4.925, then I'm doing that. And if it locks up now, I think I'm gonna take the CPU out and delete it. Let's just quickly do... Now it crashed. Okay, yeah, I said I was gonna delete the CPU at the end for fun, so I'm gonna go get my delidding tool. Here it is. I got the expensive one. Yeah, so let's take the card out first. Yeah, so like I bought this thing specifically for delidding my 8700K because I didn't trust myself with a box cutter knife. Like I do that with GPUs, but 8700Ks are a bit expensive, and mine was pretty good. I didn't want to lose it, so I paid like 40 euros for this thing. Yeah, it also happens to work with LGA 775 CPUs. You're not meant to use it with them. Because, yeah, I got one of them stuck in it and had to use power tools to get it out. But it technically works with LGA 775 CPUs. And just like pretty much any square Intel CPU, they should have all the same basic dimensions. I didn't even cover some of the corners in thermal paste. Damn. Huh. I'm gonna put the 6700 back in. Because I don't have a socket protector for this actually. The guy I bought this board from just sent it with an open socket. And yes, it did have a bent pin. I was able to fix it though. Let's go get some toilet paper to clean the thermal paste off. Yeah, it is also to set it with a bait. It's also a 4400. Okay, so CPU, and let's get the delidding tool. So, where's the triangle? Oh, that is the triangle. So that triangle gets lined up with the triangle on the CPU. CPU is in. Let me put this in. Yeah, like those markings are from when I got an A775 CPU stuck in it. Because the AHS of those is just very slightly lower, so it tends to get like stuck under it instead of getting pushed away by it. Okay, so CPU is in the delidding tool, and let's start cranking. Did that already do it? Yes, it did. That was quick. Yeah, I think that's the same die as the 60 as the quad cores, because that looks big. That's a bigger die than the 3900. So yeah, and the stock thermal paste looks atrocious. Yeah. It's such a small die too, like such a thin chip. Like, yeah, that's the CPU that just kind of didn't, well, it passed at 4.9 once. So the little Pentium that could do 4.9 gigahertz. Yeah, it is so light, like, doesn't weigh anything, like the IHS is like all the weight of it. So yeah, so here's the CPU delidded, and I already know what else to do now. Guess I could read some comments. Can you run it delidded on a normal board / cooler? I mean, I can just put normal thermal paste on it again, because I might still have some liquid metal, but I kind of feel like a Pentium doesn't really need that. If you mean direct die, no, I need to remove the ILM to run it direct die. And I'm pretty sure the awful mounting pressure of this heatsink would just put the CPU at risk of just dying by not having thermal paste, by like not having contact with the bare die. But it won't work on 12th and 13th gen CPUs, right? Well, like the non-K BCLK overclocking? It works on 12th gen. Oh, you mean direct die? No, oh yeah. I'm asking. You meant direct die. I'm answering the other person right now. So for Alder Lake, if you have an external clock gen, you can overclock non-K CPUs. I don't know if there's any other restrictions, but if you have an external clock gen on an Alder Lake, you should be able to overclock non-K CPUs. For 13th gen, that doesn't work anymore. It's similar to like how on my CPUs work because they're all Skylake based. Kaby Lake doesn't work anymore, even though it's technically the same thing. It's just, yeah. Yeah. And we've been streaming for 2.5 hours. It's an okay length. So I guess we're done. Yeah. And I don't know when the next stream is going to be. I always say I want to do more of them, and I did one now. Yeah, the main problem is I do kind of want to run, like I do want to stream Sub-Zero overclocking, but the phase change unit is just so loud. Like I can theoretically use RTX voice to kind of filter it out, but it is so loud that the sound quality just gets really, really bad, even if it's like filtered. So it is not a very good experience in terms of sound when I run the phase change. I could do more CPU stuff. Actually, maybe that's the next thing I do, is just like do CPU stuff. Yeah, like I do want to use my phase change for CPU overclocking at some point. And I think I would try it on like LGA 775 first, because that board and CPU cost me literally 10 euros. This board was quite a lot more expensive. But I would maybe also try Sub-Zero on this board if the others go well, because there would be like insulation work, and I would be working with an LGA socket for the first time. Expect 3 360s and a 240 in the mail soon. That is very nice. I'm gonna have enough radiators for everything now. Thank you very much for continuously sending stuff in. I'd watch that stream for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I guess I should just like do the stream, and then when people complain about the noise, I will not do it. I will try to like dampen it. I can't really do that much other than enabling RTX voice, which just kind of makes it sound like I'm sitting inside of a washing machine. Yeah. And anything else? Like there's still the other G4400 that I could try. I don't want to really do it now. I think the stream has been gone along for long enough. Yeah. I could do more 775 stuff at some point. Like that's kind of also why I built this backup test bench, because my main test bench is like put together, and then sometimes I feel like, I kind of feel like, running this CPU right now, and then I just go, I have to tear apart the entire test bench. I don't want to do that. That is why this test bench exists, because this is the backup. I don't have to touch my main test bench for this one, because I finally have enough parts to just have 2 test benches, and soon apparently I'll also have enough radiators to just make custom water cooling for this. So yeah, I can do some CPU stuff without having to tear apart like my Apex and 8700K build. Is the GTX 260 comp still live? Technically, yeah. Like we were doing it, and then a heat wave rolled in and ambient temperatures were really high and we couldn't get the clock stable anymore. And then when the temperatures went down again, everyone just kind of lost interest. I still have it, like there. I still have my 260 right here. It's like modded and ready to go. I just haven't run it. Like I was thinking about running it recently, and I might as well just do it, because like right now I'm on a streak where I'm like, I don't really need to buy new hardware. I have enough hardware already here that I just need to run. So I've been thinking of just like working through the stack of stuff that I already have, and the 260 is one of the items to tick off. I just got some 260s. Yeah, I mean, if we feel like running 260s again, because a lot of people have them. They're really cheap to get. Also my card's kind of really good. I found out, because yeah, so like apparently a lot of 260s don't scale with voltage on core at ambient temperatures. Mine does. So yeah, but yeah, I guess I could do the 260. I also have the Gigabyte 260, but that one kind of sucks. Like, that controller can't be easily volt modded, and the memory and the core are just worse than my palette card. Oh no, actually it's a game ward. Yeah, it's a game ward. This thing also has a BIOS on it, where when the card crashes, it doesn't go into save mode. Most other cards, if they crash, they lock themselves into like really low clocks, and you need to completely restart the system, even if it's just your benchmark that crashed. Which makes this card a lot easier to work with. Yeah, we can totally do 260s again. That could be the next stream. I could delete the card, I could run water cooling on it, and then eventually, like, I don't want to do Sub-Zero on it right away when no one else is running it yet, because I think it's more fun when everyone just kind of like progresses together. And to be honest, there's like 2 people who can even do Sub-Zero, but yeah. But I did a stream once where I ran the card on air. Mind if I join the fun? Yeah, like the whoever wants can join the comp. I was thinking about asking the HW board guys to make it an official thing. I haven't yet. For now, I think, like, we used to have a thread on the JackNet RGB Discord where we just posted our scores. I could try reviving that. I do happen to be a mod on it, so even if the thread is like archived, no longer available, I can probably bring it back. I'm just gonna check it right now. Yeah, here, 260 comp. Can I unarchive it? Open thread. Huh. Yep. I can reopen it. There we go. 260 comp thread is back. Just need to go into the overclocking channel on the JackNet RGB Discord, and it should be there. Tell me before you stream so I can prepare and bench mine as you stream. That sounds like a cool idea. Yeah, I started this stream because I was kinda just feeling like it. I should do announcements. It also makes it perform a lot better in the algorithm because a lot more people show up to watch it. Yeah. Yeah, like, if there's interest in doing 260s, I'm totally up for that. It is the winter now. Like, we have basically perfect conditions for running them, even if people don't have the ability to go like water cooling or anything exotic. And I like this one. Like, honestly, if anybody here wants to join and doesn't have a 260 yet, get this one. Like, this red thing that's available from Gainward and Palette. The BIOS on it makes it really easy to work with, and tag has a guide on how to volt mod it, so you don't even have to do any research with that, and the stock heatsink is also pretty decent. So yeah. Also, there's a lot of 260s that have like an NCP 5000 series controller, which you need to vid mod in order to get more than 1.2 volts out of, which is annoying. Imagine everyone running their 260s live on Discord. Yeah, that would be cool. We could do that. That would be kind of cool, yeah. Yeah, another good thing is that you can run a 260 on a 2-core. Actually, if you look up the old stream I did, I ran my 260 on LGA 775 because I have an ISO for a Windows 7 Superlight. But that doesn't have any drivers for the newer platforms, so it only works on 775, and I haven't figured out, like, I tried, but haven't managed to like add drivers to it that it needs to work on Coffee Lake. And even though LGA 775 is so goddamn slow, that Windows 7 Superlight ISO actually boosted our score a bit. Because the benchmark that we were running was Unigine Tropics, which tends to be a bit weird apparently. Like it really likes when your OS is efficient. Yeah. I guess I could like make a video and then say like, hey, we're doing the 260 comp still. It's not dead. If you feel like come to the Discord and bench live. Yeah, we can totally do that as a project, like doing like benching live streams. I don't know what I want to do first, if I go to water straight away or if I just put a custom heatsink on it. Because I've already maxed it on the stock heatsink. Once you do start overvolting it, the stock heatsink is a bit eh. For stock voltage it's fine, but would it be possible for you to send me that image? What image specifically? Like, oh, of the Windows 7. If I find it, it's like a 600 megabyte image. It's like the really, really small one. I think I just Googled Windows 7 Superlight and found a website hosting a bunch of them. I could try to check. I do have a folder where I keep all the ISOs I have. Windows ISOs. I'm just gonna check if I have it right here. I can put it in a zip file and upload it to Google Drive, and I can just share the link with the chat so everyone gets it. Yeah, here, Windows 7 Superlight Service Pack 1, 670 megabytes. Sent to zipped folder. And it's compressing it. We could run Ice Storm Extreme. We could. The problem with the problem with those with like Ice Storm and CloudGate and stuff is it's really, really CPU bound. And even if you have a card like a 260, someone who has a faster CPU than you will still get a lot more score. That's just kind of a thing with the 3D marks. Like I think Skydiver as well. And these things don't run Firestrike. They do run Vantage. We could do Vantage. Vantage is just a bit long and also still has a CPU component to it. If I remember correctly, we chose Tropics mostly because it's a good match for the card. It is not too short, not too long, and doesn't really care about what CPU you have. If I remember correctly, is why we chose it. Also, it's free. Like, if we did like Firestrike, people would need a key for it, or just run the demo every single time. Yeah. I don't know, are there any other tests? Like, I guess they also run Heaven and Valley, but those are just the same as Tropics, but lower FPS, because slightly more modern. I stripped down my Windows 7 so much it only consumed allocated 0.6 gigabytes RAM in idle. Yeah, I think this thing is about the same. Oh, it compressed. It's 666 megabytes. That's a nice number. I'm gonna upload that to Google Drive real quick and then share the link in chat, so everyone can have a crack at it. Let's use my YouTube account for that. Uploading 600 megabytes shouldn't take, never mind, 26 minutes. That's a bit long. Okay. I'll try to find if I... Okay, because I can't like wait 30 minutes now for it to upload. So I guess I'll send ASIC an email if I can't find it now, but I'm gonna try looking for where I found the download. Download. I think it's this one, actually. I have no idea if it's like a virus-free one, because like the website's a bit sketchy. But I think it's this one. Definitely scan for viruses though, because it does look a bit sketchy. But I think it's this one. because if you look, yeah, it's a 655 megabyte download. That's like matching exactly. And like CapMao SR by that guy, I think that's also what it says in the ISO for me. Could try opening it with 7-zip real quick. I think it says it somewhere in there. 7-zip open archive. Guess it doesn't. Does it have some metadata? No. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's that download. There's also this. Oh no, that's just a stock Windows 7 ISO. Yeah, it's just... there's a bunch of downloads that seem to host it. It's just like... I have never heard of any of these websites. So it's a bit sketchy with if you trust this to be a proper download. I like how YouTube's still saying it's not receiving enough data, will cause buffering. I'm like, nothing's changing on the image. just the card in the system. Yeah. Post a comment on stream later with the link. Oh yeah, I could have done that as well. Well, I mean, here's the download link. I'm fairly sure it's that because it's the exact same size for the download. And I can also post a comment if I remember it. It'll need another 20 minutes to upload, it says. Yeah. And I guess to summarize, yeah, let's continue the 260 comp then. Because, yeah, like a lot of people have cards and they're cheap to get and somewhat fun to overclock. And is there anything else? I think not so far. So I guess we're done then. So I will... Oh, what? That's dust there. Yeah, I will be running this again then. So probably gonna jerry-rig a like a custom heatsink to it. It does have a dedicated VRM heatsink right here, which is nice with this card. And it does have a baseplate for memory as well, though that might have to go, I'm not sure. But yeah, I'll run it again. Like it has the EBC volt mod on it. It should work just fine. And we're gonna restart the 260 comp then. Maybe maybe I can even get one of my friends to also do it. Cause like I have this thing here. I have this card as well, which is like the it's not officially an SoC card, but it's the same PCB as the SoC. Like it has the MOSFETs on the back here. It's a pretty strong 4-phase. Back when having a 4-phase was still considered good. The problem with this card is the controller on this needs a VIT mod to get higher voltages. And also the core on this is just worse than my Gain Watt card. And this has Hynix RAM. This one has Samsung RAM. At ambient... Oh, autofocus broken. Come on. Like, lip. Yeah, so for the RAM situation, at ambient, the Samsung cards should clock better. At Sub-Zero, I've been told, you maybe want Hynix. There's some conflicting sources. Some say Samsung's fine, some say Samsung is not fine. So, yeah. I mean, ideally, you'd have just like more than one card and then just pick the best one for whatever situation. Yeah, maybe I can talk one of my friends into doing it as well, because then he can just use this test bench. That's like also a purpose of it, just having 2 test benches ready to go. Only need to like steal one of the monitors from my daily system and then you can use it. Anyway, that's a good extra hour of rambling after we were done. uh, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I'll send you my Discord. Did stream just crash? It shouldn't have. It's still like still running. At least on my end. Maybe it is actually buffering now. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, there goes the stream. It has quite a delay to it. Yeah, I can send you my Discord. It also shouldn't be too hard to find me on the JackNet RGB Discord. It should be easy to find that Discord, just Googling it. I might even have it linked on my on my YouTube channel. I had it linked there once. I don't know if I still do. I do not. Okay, I removed it. Yeah, like if you just go on that Discord, I'm one of the mods, so I should be pretty high up the list. I have the same name there as on YouTube, it's just Commander Soyo, same profile picture. And in the Overclocking channel on that Discord, there should be the 260 comp thread. I have reopened it. So, yeah. I'll also send you my Discord per email to stay to make sure. Anyway, we're about to get to 3 hours, and I think we're done with most things. So I'm gonna clean stuff up, gonna put new firmware paste on that CPU we deleted, and then until the next stream, maybe soon, maybe not. After next week, I'll have 2 weeks of winter vacation. There will be lots of opportunities to do overclocking then, especially if the competition comes back and it's cold outside, and it could be a cool time. So until then, goodbye.